Week 23 of the 2024-25 NBA season is over, which means it's time to run it back. This is Run It Back, NBA Week in Review, Heat Edition. I'm Eric Labrador, contributor at thepeachbasket.net covering the Heat. This is the show where we recap the week that was in the NBA and then highlight the marquee matchup for the week to come for the Heat. We start with the only objective overall NBA power rankings anywhere. You can read more about how we get to these rankings and see the entire list at thepeachbasket.net. As for the Heat, they move up to 22nd in the rankings with their 3-0 week, but they're still 10th in the East. Tyler Hiro led the team in scoring and field goal attempts. Kal Ware led the team in all rebounding categories. Davion Mitchell averaged 7 assists per game during the three, and Andrew Wiggins led in blocks and steals. To review the week, the Heat had a great week, going 3-0. They beat the Warriors, the Hawks, and the Sixers. On Tuesday, the Heat got a spark from beating the Warriors and broke their 10-game losing streak. The Heat were ready to get back and shot lights out in the game. Unfortunately, they only got to the foul line 12 times in the game. Bam Adebayo scored 27 points on 18 shots and set the tone from the start, bullying the Warriors' front court. The Heat shot 68% from three, which was great. But the question arose was that when the Heat's shooting would be off against a competitive team, could they slow the game down by getting to the line? The Heat are 25th in the NBA in field goal attempts per game and are 27th in free throw attempts per game. There's no need for other teams to feel any need to increase the defensive pressure on the Heat. The game on Tuesday was the anticipated reunion game with Jimmy Butler since the trade. Jimmy Butler was obviously affected by the game. He acted like a moody teenager all week in interviews, referring to his time with Miami like a broken relationship with a significant other. Now, I love doing impressions, so every time I listen to Jimmy and all the articles or all the interviews on TV, it would be like, I might watch the video. It makes no difference to me if they make a video. We had some cool runs. Whatever. Pat Riley better not say anything to me. It reminded me of the 1995 movie Friday, where Ice Cube's girlfriend tried to confront him cheating over the phone and said, "You don't have to lie, Craig." So Jimmy Butler doesn't have to lie. He was affected by coming back to Miami. It was weird. It was awkward. He sheepishly raised his finger when announced by Michael Biamonte in the usual way that he would be announced, to a mixed reaction from the crowd. He scored 11 points on 12 shots and wasn't a factor. Goodbye, Jimmy. On Wednesday, the Heat had their best win of the second half of the season in beating Atlanta's the 8th seed in the East and won 2 out of the last 3 games against Miami. Miami couldn't find a more even matchup to prove that they can compete. Tyler Hiro scored 36 points on 17 shots, which was ultra efficient. The Heat had their moment of truth in the early fourth when the score was 114-109. The Heat held the lead and pushed it to 10. The team went to the line 20 times in the game, which was a marked improvement. Tyler Hiro also improved from Tuesday by going 7 times to the line against Atlanta, where against the Warriors he only went twice. In looking at the total amount for the Heat, their average amount of foul shots per game is 20. Andrew Wiggins leads the team with 4.3 attempts per game, but is only 32nd in the NBA. Hiro and Adebayo aren't that far away with 4.1 attempts per game. Against the Sixers, the Heat took care of business. The key point in the game was in the early third quarter when the Heat were only up 72-69. Haywood Highsmith scored 5 straight points, then Alec Burks hit 2 straight three-pointers. Bam Adebayo had a sweet cutting layup on a pick and roll with Davion Mitchell, and then Pelle Larsson had an and-one layup on a great pump fake, and that put the game out of reach. The marquee matchup, as I said last week, since the Heat are 10th seed in the Eastern Conference, all the week's games are marquee. The Heat have 4 games this week 2 at home and 2 away. They play the Wizards on Monday in D.C. Then they go to Boston on Wednesday, and then they come back home playing Memphis on a Thursday and finally Milwaukee on a Saturday. So that flight from Boston after the game to Miami and playing Memphis the next day is going to be a tough test. The Heat, if they are ready to get ready for the playoffs, need to begin to solidify their identity this season, whatever it is. So they need to play the way they are capable of playing. So they have to beat Washington on Monday. They can beat Washington. The Heat can make a run in the last games of the season, but the key games to truly know will be this week. If they can scratch out a win or 2, I would want it to be 2, especially against Memphis and Milwaukee, but wouldn't be upset if they went the whole 3-0 and beat Boston in Boston. It's going to be this week, as the rest of the teams that they play in the remainder of the season have below 500 records. The Heat this season have become infected by the Dolphins in that whenever they play tough elite teams, they don't compete and they lose badly. And the players, their best players, have bad games that are not effective. This leads me to the full court press. In a Google search on the Heat or keywords related to the Heat, I found the following 3 interesting articles. Writer Wes Goldberg on the All You Can Heat website gives takes on the Heat. He said that Tyler Hiro took a page out of Steph Curry's off-ball game. Davion Mitchell contributed with his positional defense, and Kyle Anderson is a utility point guard for Coach Spoelstra. My take is that in watching the Atlanta game, Hiro only scored 1 basket playing off the ball, and the rest of the time he had the ball in his hands. I do agree with Goldberg that he did take a page out of Steph Curry's book, but Tyler Hiro should exponentially learn to play off the ball. He should become a worshiper at the church of the Steph Curry off-ball church. He would increase in his foul shot attempt, increase in his scoring. He's not a guy that should be bringing the ball up court for the Heat at all. He should be on the other side, putting pressure on the defense, allowing Davion Mitchell or whatever other point guard is for the Heat to be able to look for him on cuts and off of screens. Number 2 was that LeBron James finally confirmed the cookie story on the Pat McAfee show. The legendary cookie story that Dwayne Wade a couple of weeks ago talked about, where Pat Riley took the cookies away from him. LeBron said that it wasn't that he grabbed the cookies out of LeBron's hand on the trip. LeBron said that they were going to go on a road trip. He asked for cookies, and they said, no more cookies on flights. LeBron said that wasn't the main reason why he left. He did, though, use the story to vouch for the fact that Pat Riley is all about the team and the franchise, and he doesn't cater or pander to any individual players. And finally, Coach Spoelstra, in talking with our Winderman, commented about the sudden firing of the Memphis coach, Taylor Jenkins, and said that it was unfortunate. Jenkins was the winningest coach in the Memphis franchise. What is Memphis doing? They're second tier in the West always, and now all of a sudden they have the winningest coach in the franchise and let him go. The GM really didn't give a good impression to fire the coach. So in this emotional morass that they find themselves in, the Heat can probably take advantage of any fallback by the Memphis team because of this blunt decision. So that's it. Week 23 of the 2024-25 NBA season is in the books. Join me next week after week 24 when we run it back.